Healthy habits. It's something we all struggle with. And when I polled you on my Instagram stories, so many of you had consistency that you were struggling with. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I implement healthy habits and how I make them stick. So my number one tip in implementing healthy habits is to know your why. Why are you trying to develop this healthy habit? Is it because you want to reverse a disease? Is it because you want to prevent a disease? Is it something that you want to do because you just want to look good, be fitter, lose some weight, clear your skin? Whatever your why is, know your why. So I'll tell you my why. My why is so that I can age gracefully, so that I don't have to be dependent on medication for the rest of my life. I know my why, it's strong. Yes, I'll falter sometimes, but I know that this is why I want to stick to my healthy habits. And that is what makes you stronger as well. It gives you the ability to commit. It gives you the ability to sacrifice, because there is some amount of sacrifice when you want to live a healthier, holistic life. We were meant for sacrifice. We were meant to do hard things. Don't let anyone tell you that your willpower is not strong, that you're not strong enough. When I started my journey, I was given hydrocortisone to get rid of my rash. The dermatologist was giving me creams and toners and such. But it wasn't until I started treating the inside that my outside started clearing up too. I lost weight, my acne cleared up, I reversed my Hashimoto's, my antibodies started going down. This was because I knew my why. I knew that I had to stay committed. I educated myself. I sacrificed somewhat. I'm here today to help you do the same. Number 2, start small. Don't get overwhelmed. I see so many people get overwhelmed by the restrictions that they're put upon. And that takes me back to my previous point, sacrifice. Sometimes you need to sacrifice. Sometimes you will be put on elimination diets to figure out what exactly is that's triggering your disease. But start small. With me, I gave up gluten because I researched and I found that gluten was something that was triggering my Hashimoto's. There is research to show that gluten does trigger autoimmunity and thyroid issues, and a lot of the functional doctors will put you on a gluten-free diet as well as grain-free and such. So it can get difficult, but with me, I started small. I started with just giving up gluten. I brought in the good stuff, my greens, vegetables, black seed, honey, lots of water. But I started small. I didn't overwhelm myself. I gave up gluten, and that was the one thing that I gave up. But you know, gluten's in everything. So by default, I was eating less sugar. I wasn't having any processed foods. And so this is what I did. I started small, and I would advise you to start small too. And I'm going to reference a book that I've been reading lately. It's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he talks about the 2-minute rule. Now, the 2-minute rule means that when you are starting a new habit, you just do it for 2 minutes. And what starts happening is when you do that over a period of time, you start small, you just do that habit for 2 minutes, you're likely to start doing more of it. Number 3, stack your habits. What this means is that you take a previous habit that you have and you stack it with a new habit that you want to implement. So for example, I have a habit of drinking lemon water in the morning. When COVID started, and with increasing level of anxiety and stress, I wanted to bring in deep breathing into my day, which I wasn't doing previously. So what I started doing was that I decided that I would drink my lemon water, and right after I would do a very short deep breathing exercise. And what's happening is I'm seeing that every time I pick up my lemon water, walk out into my backyard, I'm reminded of my deep breathing exercise right after. Planning ahead. Now, whatever that may look like for you, but if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I like to prep ahead, batch cook once, eat twice. chop up some veggies, make some breakfast items, clean up my salad greens before the start of the week. And what that does is that it makes it easier for me to consistently eat well. I always have something that I can reach for instead of reaching for foods that don't serve me. So in his book, James Clear talks about his third law, the law of least resistance. And what that says is that you reduce the amount of friction between you and the habit. So for example, if you want to start drinking lemon water in the morning, he talks about setting up your environment for the future. So what you would do the previous night, you'd put some water in your kettle, have it ready to go in the morning, put your mug out, have everything ready and primed for your habit the next day. So what I do to remain consistent in my lemon water habit is that I batch make a concoction, and I'll leave the link to that in the description box below. I take a tablespoon of that, add it to my warm water, and that makes it so much easier for me to stick to this healthy habit. Another thing that I found to be extremely helpful is setting up my environment for success. I didn't really do this till I wanted to get my family to eat healthier, my kids to eat healthier. I stopped bringing in the junk food. The more that it's there and visible, the more you're going to be tempted to eat it. Because food companies spend millions of dollars getting food scientists to create snacks and foods that are irresistible to you. They create cravings and make food addictive. According to Stephen Witherly, a food scientist, Cheetos is one of the most marvelously constructed foods on the planet. Food companies make foods attractive, delicious, stuff that you'll keep coming back to. Rally support. That is so important if you want to stick to your healthy habits. A supportive circle of friends, family, or community goes a long way in helping you stay consistent. Healthy habits are so much easier to stick to if you have a supportive circle that cheers you on. And that is something that I have found to have helped me. Shift your mindset. This is extremely important if you want to be in control and be empowered. Instead of saying, I can't do a certain thing, say, I don't do a certain thing. What that does is that you start to feel empowered and in control. In a study that was conducted on 120 students, divided into two groups, they found that the group that was told to say I can't when faced with a temptation was more likely, 60 times more likely to give in than those who were told to say I don't when faced with a temptation. So shift your mindset and be empowered. Know that you are in control and not your desires. And lastly, embody the habits of the person you're trying to become. Again, in James Clear's book, he calls this identity. Envision yourself as a person who eats healthier, who has healthier habits. What does that person do? They most certainly eat more fruits and vegetables. They have a better sleep regimen. They have more control over their sugar intake. They have more control over their cravings. They get regular exercise. So once you identify with the person that you're trying to become, it'll be much easier to implement the habits that that person has. So there you have it, my top tips on how to implement and stick to your healthy habit. And remember, you're bound to fall off the wagon every once in a while. You're human, we're all human, and whenever I fall off the wagon, I just get up and get back on. If I've eaten something that doesn't serve me, my next meal definitely makes up for it. So if you have any tips to add to this, make sure you put them in the comments below so that it can help us. And give me a thumbs up. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me to make more such videos, and it keeps me going and showing up for you week after week. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and remember, eat, drink pure, because pure foods equal spiritual bliss.